Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. So what do we have on tap for today? Well, in the last few days, Senate Democrats and some treacherous Republicans joined forces to pass the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022. Why is that important? What does it mean? Glad you asked. So, it passed to the Senate. It's getting ready to move on for final voting and trying to hit Biden's desk for sign. And it is a $740 billion bill. So let's stop right there. First and foremost, right out the gate, you labeled the bill the Inflation Reduction Bill and promptly decided to try and reduce inflation by spending $740 billion. Sorry, the screen didn't freeze. I was giving that a minute to sink in. Try to make some sense out of that. So right off the bat, right off the rip, $740 billion to combat inflation, which could be combated by, I don't know, not spending money frivolously. It's a good start. So this thing sets aside money for, it's like 300 and something billion dollars for green energy development, windmills, and all kinds of other things, to include tax breaks given to people that purchase electric vehicles. So everyday average Americans are hurting, and you want to give a tax credit only to those people that go out and toe the party line and spend money that they might not have to get an electric vehicle when they already have a gas vehicle, combustion vehicle, ready to go. So all the Americans that have gas vehicles could use tax breaks as well, but you're giving tax breaks to the people that only support the bullshit that you're spewing. Never mind the fact that all you have to do is look at all the damage that lithium mining does to the environment and the terrain, the wooded areas, the natural habitat. It destroys natural habitats. Worse than any of the stuff that we do for combustion engines. So again, it's another bullshit where they're feeding you nonsense just for the sake of control. So you're giving tax breaks to people that toe your party line, that buy into your nonsense. You're spending $300 and something billion in fighting climate change, despite the fact that America is among the lowest worldwide in actual greenhouse gases and effects on the ozone layer and climate change. And I get that, you know, you're looking at, oh, well, if they're not doing enough, we should do more. Yeah, but that's not how that works. We shouldn't be putting ourselves in a position where we're financially hurting this country just for the sake of trying to make up for someone else's shortcomings. We shouldn't be doing that. This bill will then also lengthen the duration of the subsidies for the Obamacare, and now it's hilarious because it was called the Affordable Care Act, and Obama and the Democrats touted it as Obamacare because it was supposed to be the latest and greatest thing that saved the world. And then when it ended up being a gigantic, utter piece of shit, it became racist or bigoted to call it Obamacare, even though they coined the phrase, because it was a piece of shit. And you'll have people in the comments going, oh, well, all these people got health insurance that couldn't afford health insurance before. Listen, I spent 12 years as a cop. I've worked in retail. I've dealt with people face to face. The medical care they got under Obamacare was absolute dog shit, 100,000%. And on top of that, you had a litany of people that had health care that could no longer afford it because of the damages that Obamacare did to everyday average people's insurances. There were businesses that were dropping their health coverages altogether. They were hiking. They started making their covered individuals, their employees, start paying for it rather than just covering insurance for them. So now people are paying for insurance that they didn't have to pay, or they didn't have the money to pay for before, that their companies were paying for. And you had people that were getting fined for not having insurance. So I went from not being able to afford insurance to now I'm getting fined because I don't have any. Makes sense. So we're going to be extending for that as well. And how, so this bill, the $740 billion bill, according to the Democrats, is going to eventually, in the long run, is expected to pay for itself. There are a multitude of different avenues where this bill will collect in and bring in enough money to where it's going to go into the green as far as allegedly paying for itself and then still bringing in dividends. Except for the fact that every time these assholes have promised something like this before, it's been absolutely dog shit and off the mark. I don't know about you, but I don't trust the government to go, let me spend all this money, but I swear we're going to make it back. I swear, this hand to God, hand to the God that they don't believe in, we're going to make it all back. So one of the many ways that they've decided they're going to pay for this, that the bill is going to help pay for itself, is they are raising the taxes, a minimum tax rate of, I believe it's 21% for large businesses, rich businesses. So what businesses qualify? Businesses that record a public gain, a public profit, publicly reported profit of $1.5 billion or higher. So who does that affect? Like 1% or less of America. So, sounds great, right? All these fucking liberals, oh, it's about time that the rich people pay their fair share. First off, there's a multitude of taxes. While they may not, all of them may not necessarily pay the 20-something% minimum tax, there are a multitude of other taxes that you and I don't have to pay for that they do because of their corporation status and their level of income and so on and so forth. So the people that scream, oh, they need to pay their fair share, don't understand how much these people do end up paying. Having said that, you notice that they set the benchmark high enough so all the businesses that these fucking Democrats and Republicans as well, all these Democrats and these Republican fucking politicians, all the businesses and all the oil crap and all everything that they're invested in, they'll make it just under the mark of people that are getting an increase in taxes. Funny how that works. Convenient. And on top of it, if Trump's time showed anything, and they don't want to fucking hear it, they don't want to hear, oh, trickle-down economics doesn't work, blah, 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 blah. When they were handing out these tax breaks to companies like Disney, and again, I fucking hate Disney, but Disney and all these other things, they were handing out bonuses, they were handing out raises, they were handing out extra paid vacations, they were handing out a multitude of benefits to their employees because they weren't getting dragged through the mud with taxes by Democrats. You can try to argue and argue. Listen, you can throw numbers out there. You can do this, you can do that. But reality is when push came to shove, they did exactly what Trump said they were going to do. You gave them relief and it benefited their employees. There's a multitude of everyday taxes that are going to be affected by this whole inflation reduction. And it's not because they're not being affected because they're being reduced. They're being affected because they're going up. How are they combating inflation? By taxing. Bet you didn't know that the Inflation Reduction Act actually raised the taxes on oil being imported into our country from other countries. How does that help you? How does that help me? How does that keep money in our pocket? How does that allow us to feed our families better? It doesn't. Because it takes money out of our pockets. It's because you motherfuckers keep voting for people that keep lying to you, and when they get caught lying, you go, oh, well, no, now hold on a minute. Reading between the lines, it does make sense, and, it's for the greater good. Y'all are fools. You all are fools. You're fools. Even the great Bernie Sanders, towing the socialist left-wing fucking nonsense, even went on record as saying this is the so-called Inflation Reduction Act, and went on record as saying, and a multitude of different financial analysis groups have looked at this and said it will have little to no effect on inflation if it doesn't make it worse. So just keep drinking the Kool-Aid, keep chowing down on all the bullshit they feed you. It's going to get worse before it gets better. Good luck.